Coaches, what's going on? It's Coach Ian Tatum here, back with another video. And today, on the clinic series, I have a good friend of mine, Coach Jacob Tedder. He's the defensive coordinator at Chatham Central High School here in North Carolina. Coach, appreciate you coming on. We've been trying to do, a defensive talk with you for a while, man, and we always send things back and forth. So glad to get you on and talk a little defense.
Yes, sir. I'm very grateful to be on. I've been trying to get on a couple times, and when you got multiple kids, it kind of happens.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Coach, I'm going to share your screen. You're good to go. You want to go ahead and go present on your slideshow, and it's up. Floor is yours.
Cool. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, my fault. Okay, so we're going to talk about base defense, alignments, fits, coverages, and adjustments over base defense. To start, a little about me. I've been coaching 8 seasons, varsity level. I've been on offense a couple of seasons, but the last couple I've been DC, 5 seasons as DC. Um, so really it's been 7 years, but with the COVID year, I was with the Greensboro Panthers. So I got to coach in the fall and in the spring, so 8. I've been with the Greensboro Panthers where we kind of got our start together. And then Bishop McGinnis, I was DC there for 2 years. Head coach retired. Really one of the best coaches I've ever been around. Holcomb came. I was able to join his staff as an assistant, and then I've been at Chatham Central for one. Couple of certifications with me, health and PE teacher, certified strength and conditioning, USA weightlifting, all that. I'm a current master's student in sport leadership with a specialization in sports psychology. I graduate next spring. And I threw this a little bit in here just because I've seen on Twitter, I don't know, past week, there's a big argument about saying that you can't be a high-level football coach and be a present dad at the same time, and I disagree. I'm a biological foster and adopted dad to 5 little girls, 4 and under, so my life's kind of busy in the off season. But anybody that says you can't, I feel like is just using the job as an excuse. Because you can be present. There's stay-at-home dads that are not present, and there's dads that are overseas in the military that are present. So I don't think that that's really prevalent. Coaching philosophy, and when I started, I tried to be as multiple as I could. Everything was about as many blitzes as I could do, how many fronts as I could do, how many coverages I could do. Man, that first year at Bishop, there's 4 different ways I can run cover 3, quarters, cover 2, man, all that. And then I slowly transitioned to really famous quote, do simple better than anyone else. And it took a while to get to that. But I really had to evaluate like why we were bad and what we can do better. Because really it's about defending the offenses that we see, the players we have, and the assistant coach's availability, expertise, and willingness to teach what you're asking. Very few times when you're playing an offense is it that, all right, the offense knows that we're playing 2 read, they're going to scheme up something to beat 2 read. No, like, especially lower level football, they're going to run their stuff. And what we mess up is bad eyes, bad alignment. All right, you can't let this guy cross your face, and you let him cross your face, and now we lost the edge. Or you can't let him cross your face to the flat, and he crosses your face to the flat. Stuff like that, we beat ourselves. So I've really taken a hard look about being simple and talking about the way I teach things. I spend more time thinking about the way I teach it and the way I drill it and the way I emphasize it in practice than I do about what scheme I'm going to run. Because I'm pretty consistent about what I want to run with the kids that we have. Like I said, eyes and alignment are the most important thing. Eyes will lead the feet, and the feet will lead the rest of the body. I run a 3-4 defense really because you have more smaller bodies in high school than you do bigger bodies for the most part. And with that, there's an ability to be versatile and fit every offense on the schedule. At the end of this presentation, we're going to see offenses that we see and how they were different each week. It lends itself better to adjustments from week to week. Same thing, the ability to be versatile. It's easier to go from a 3 down and walk outside linebacker down than to be 4 down and then go to 3 down. It allows to follow the principle that I follow. I'm even when the offense is even. So if we're 2 by 2, I like to be too high. I'm unbalanced when the offense is unbalanced. So for trips, I like to be one high. The tight front, I ran it as more of a bare front this year, just because there's a variety of things with D-line. Coach was there, not there, things like that. I ran it as a 3-0-3 and just let them be on the outside shoulder of the guard. Tight front allows for consistent pictures with inside linebackers. It's always going to be the same, especially if you have a two-gap nose. If you don't, then we're going to slant him either to the back or away from the back, and that dictates the picture for the inside linebacker. The shade front gives a very clear open and closed read to linebacker reads. So those are the two fronts that I'm going to use a lot. Tight front really being 4-eye, 0-4-eye, or 3-0-3, and then shade front a 5-1-3. And it fits most high school personnel available. Everybody's got that 5'10", 175-pound linebacker walking around. Not everybody has a 6'2", 220 defensive end walking around. It's different. As I spoke on earlier, more games are lost than there are won. And it took me a long time to figure that out. Watching college ball, watching high school ball, I think people sometimes will get into this mindset that we're going to throw a whole bunch of exotic blitzes your way, and sometimes they hit, and a lot of times they lose you games. They lose you third downs when you should be gaps down. Missed alignments, missed tackles, and bad eyes were the leading cause of poor defense in my 5 years. There's a tons of things that we could do as a defense, but there's not enough time throughout the week to practice everything we could do. So I like to stay in our base until we are forced out of it. Very rarely are we forced out of it. How we play defense at Chatham Central, the secondary recognizes the set. Usually, I'll pick a safety to do it. To read, I like running to 2x2. Your typical quarters where we're going to play off mod with the corners, man on deep, and the safeties will sometimes I'll lock them where they take two up or out. And then if I called blue is our quarter. So if I call blue buzz, then the linebacker would take it, and the safeties and corners would both stay high. Cover three, like I said, I like to run it to trips. Sometimes I'll run it to heavy personnel, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So trips, sky and cloud are both kind of the same. If I run cloud, it kind of goes in with two read. Two read is a very expensive coverage. So if we can combine the principles from two read out of blue quarters, and we can combine the principles out of two read and cover three cloud, we're kind of killing two birds with one stone. But one thing that we can do that we can't really do a whole lot in quarters is we can roll safety down, and we can play that seam curl flat technique. The linebackers ID the box and adjust. We match the amount of defenders in the box. So 2x2, 3x1, your typical 10 personnel, we're going to be a 7-man box. The outside linebackers are going to box it in. There are times where I try to keep them really tight and they can spill it to a trap corner, like out of our trips look. But generally, it's going to be that 7-man box. When we start adding H-backs or tight ends, then we have to add somebody, because especially if the QB is a runner, we need 8 on their 8 or 7 on their 7. Sometimes people get in this habit of like, we'll play with a 6-man box, but what you're vulnerable to is the QB run game. Then 1x1, where there's a tight end and a wing, 9-man fits where both safeties are in. Okay, well, that has helped us. Is very front loaded. We got to make sure that the kids know we want to run this to that set, and it changes week to week because some people run 2x2 and they're air raid and they're gonna pass a lot. Some people are 2x2 and there's still a power run game, so we'll change some things week to week, but generally we know what we're gonna call. The reason why it works well for us is because the uptick in no huddle, they don't have to look at me to the sideline for me to call it. They know this is the set we're going to get. This is the way we're going to play it. This is where we should be. It's really not a ton of calls. Like, we're trying to stop their top 3 plays. So really it's going to be top 3 checks. And then if I don't like it, then I can adjust out of it. Schedule and stats for this year. Just to talk real quick, we played 11 regular season games. We were in 7 out of those 11 games. And I consider being in we gave up 4 touchdowns or less. Okay. We started 67 out of 88 drives with short fields. But our havoc rate, like from your PJ Gibbs stuff, which I follow him quite a bit, and that's another thing we can get over 3-4. We can go to 3 high sometimes. Havoc rate was 0.3 or 0.30. We gave up 25 points per game, 288 points total. Okay, that's higher than I wanted it to be. We started a lot of freshmen and sophomores that didn't play before. We were lighter than we wanted to be, but it allowed us to be in games such as North Stokes and South Davidson and JM and Seaforth and Graham. Then we played the Southeast Alamances of the world, and we didn't do so hot, but we were in 7 out of the 11. Coverage. This is really what we ran. Blue is our quarters. Blue cloud, the corner. That's our 2 read. So if 2 goes out, corner is going to jump it. If 2 does anything else, he's going to stay on top of number 1. Blue sky. That's our mess look or lock look. People call it a whole bunch of different things, but it's quarters where the safety will now take 2 out or vertical. The corner will have number 1 everything except shallow. Blue buzz. I ran it against Seaforth a lot. Is if we knew that they were going to run a lot of screens, if 2 goes out, then the linebacker is going to stay with him. The safety is going to play inside leverage up on the hash. Red is our cover 3 stuff. Not red sky. The safety's down playing the seam curl flat. Red cloud. The corner's down. He's playing 2 read. And then red buzz is typically going to be on the back side of it, where the backside linebacker now has to bust to the flat. Purple. If we didn't want to roll and we wanted to stay too high, purple is our quarters look to the trips, cover to the backside. Now on the backside, because we already have 2 read in, we can play 2 read on the backside, and the corner to the solo receiver can read it back, anything coming back inside, or we can invert it and we can roll a safety down if we need him to be the 7th man on that fit. Formation and rec fits, we're going to talk about that when I go to the playbook on huddle. But 2x2, tight and tough, zone and counter. Those are the big ones. 2x1, we're going to talk about how we fit power, counter, zone, and split zone. 3x1, tray, zone and counter, power out, all that stuff. Adjustments, for 4, 5, and 6 down, 3 high, cover 3 to everything. And we're going to talk about film. Okay. I've heard people give me a little crap because I draw it from the offensive perspective. It's kind of how I've always drawn it, but I think that's also kind of where I stand at practice, is because if I want to see how a defense defends an offense, I need to see it from the offensive perspective. Okay. 2x2, our base coverage is going to be 2 read. Day 1, that's what we want to play. The reason being is I can keep this outside linebacker tight to the box because he's not worried about taking anything out. The corner's got everything out. All he's got to worry about is taking this hook drop right here, and then typically to the back, he'll be the middle player. Away from the back, he'll go. Okay, so that means we'll send the nose here. We got B gap and B gap covered. Okay, that's nothing new. Everybody does it, right? But we got to talk about eyes, talk about alignment, things like that. So these guys should be looking at guards. These guys should be looking at tackles. I'm not a big triangle reader guy. Okay, I've heard a lot of people say it, but you aim small to miss small. You see a little to see a lot, and it all rings the same bell. If I'm asking this linebacker, especially if he's a freshman, sophomore, new to football, whatever, that's what I've experienced at Bishop and Chatham. As these kids, a lot of them don't play football. Bishop didn't have a middle school team. Chatham Central doesn't have a youth team. They didn't play football, just how it is. So they were reading guards, not center to guard tackle. That's a big triangle. You're trying to see 3 different people plus a back. So they're reading guards in this gap. If this gap separates, he's going to shoot the gap. If this gap closes, then he's going to scrape. Okay, but when I talk about reads, it's all the time. Your first 2 or 3 steps is determined by the read, and then we're playing the football. Same thing with zone. Okay, So those are our gaps. To read real quick. So vertical and out is what we're going to get a lot, okay? This corner is going to stay on the outside, sink as he goes vertical, and then when he throws the ball, he's going to jump the out. Now, there are times where we tell him to jump it right now, okay? I got lit up one year against CSD, and when all he did was throw screens, and we could not stop it. So we will have a call where it doesn't matter if he runs out right now, he's going to jump it, okay? This guy's eyes is going to be on number 2. His first 3 to 5 steps, he's reading number 2. If he runs out at any time around linebacker depth, he's going to go to 1. Okay, we're going to see that on film too. That's how we play fading out. Okay, now if we get some kind of flood concept, like we do, North Stokes running a whole lot, then he is going to take number 3, and he's going to take quarterback. It's a really simple adjustment that we don't really have to do anything for. Okay. The reason why I like to go cover 3 to trips is because I like to try to keep this outside linebacker out of conflict. Okay. We have 2 options. He can come out here and we can stay too high, but that changes this picture. I have to teach something different because now it's very easy for this guy to wall him off and he can't be in the box anymore, right? So the reason why I like cover 3 is he can stay and we can roll down behind him, okay? And now this is the box that hasn't changed. We're just changing the coverage behind it. And this is sky. We'll go with flood again. Vertical, out, right? So he's going to take the deep third. He's going to take the out, sit on top of the second out, wait for the third out. He's gonna be inside out of that third, and guess what? He's still taking the quarterback. Nothing changed. Okay. If we're getting killed by the pass game, and we're not too concerned about the run game, we can go purple. Okay. If we're gonna go purple straight quarters, this will be like a blue buzz. Here, flat, hook. Okay. Talk about all the time about 7 defenders in the box. This guy's not in the box, so now I need a defender here. Okay. If we were going to go purple invert, then he can come down. He can play. It's not hard. Or if we're going to stay with our 2 read stuff and say the back is here. Okay. He runs out. He's going to drop to the flat, take out, and he's going to be over top. So we got quarters and cover 2. That stuff isn't too big. We're going to talk about the run game. Okay. Out of 2x2, there's a huge argument between what's duo and what's inside zone. To me, as a defensive coach on film, it all looks like zone. Okay. Talked about it earlier. He's going to take this gap. If we have a guy that can 2 gap, then he's going to base on the center, and this is his primary gap, and then he's going to fold back into that A gap, but I didn't have that. A lot of the time this year, we played a kid that was about 150 pounds, maybe at this. He did okay some games. He didn't do okay some games. That's how it was. So zone. Okay. And then this tackle's job is to scoop the 4-eye. All right. The 4-eye's job, number 1, is to not get scooped by that guy. That's pretty plain and simple. If he does, then it creates a cutback lane, right? He's got that gap, and he's got that gap, okay? He shouldn't. His rule is to not get blocked by 1, not get moved by 2, okay? If this is his gap, then he needs to do everything he can to stay in that gap. He's got C. He's shooting that gap. Back is here, so he is going to be what's called our hold guy. He's going to be a little slower to get into the fit, just because any kind of run action is going to fall back to him. And this guy is our free hitter, okay? Northwood, Cummings, we had this guy could run a little bit, okay? So we had him dedicated to the quarterback. He's going to fit first for zone, and he's going to fall back, and then we end up with a vice tackle on the quarterback. Okay, so we got everything accounted for. He's holding for any kind of RPO, and he's going to take quarterback. Okay, that is out of our tight front. Some people call it bare front. Next, reality. Okay, we have two defensive ends that ended up standing up. I wasn't too big of a fan of it, but we were told they would go play basketball if we made him go to a 3-point stance, and that was not what I was fighting. So 5-0-5, and it looks really not great whenever there's one guy in a 3-point stance, and these guys are wide with 2 feet up. But again, realities of 1A high school football. I allowed this guy to cross face inside because I knew he was going to do it anyway. But we'll say inside zone. And go here. We'll say this guy gets free release to the backer. Here. Okay. I allowed him to cross face. He can stay outside, and he can fill the gap. If he were not, then it's really easy to cross here. And then we have a vice tackle. Okay. I don't mind the 5-0-5 front. As long as we have linebackers that will shoot the gap, and we have guys in 3-point stances because it looks better. Power. Well, not power. Attitude by 2. Counter. Okay. We will go Q counter bash. So down. Kick. Wrap. Okay. His job, he's coming from about 3 yards of depth, right? So his job is going to be on the outside of the kick out. If he can beat the block there, I'm not going to tell him to wait on the block. Go get the ball carrier if he's in front of the pullers, which likes to happen because not a lot of dudes in high school will follow the kick out block. So I'm not going to sit here and waste time telling him he's got to take on the kick out when it may or may not affect it, right? This guy, his read is this guard. He steps down, okay? This tackle is also stepping down. So he should be tight off his shoes right here on his outside shoulder. So now we have defined the alley, okay? What's this guy looking at? He sees pull. So his first 2 steps are down, 1, 2. Stand behind the ball, okay? At this point, he is in good leverage. He sees quarterback still got it, and he is our overlap player. So we're solid, okay? He is chasing, okay? So to try to chase that down from behind, and he's our box player, so he would take the outside threat. If he cracks, which some do, he is now in the fit. If he cracks, he is now in the fit, okay? Pretty simple. Some adjustments to that I had to do this year is this linebacker would not follow a guard. Didn't matter how much we practiced. Didn't matter how much I emphasized it. I mean, he wouldn't. So I allowed him to stay. And we had dudes that could cross face, right? We had defensive linemen that would follow the puller. So I allowed him to stay and read. And what happened a lot when we get this look is he would follow the back, unfortunately, okay? He would see here, so he would go over top. He is crossing face. So we still have people to the point of attack that are not where it would be picture perfect, but that's what I had to do because he wouldn't follow. Okay. Now we're going to get to 11 personnel. We bring an H back. We have 7. They have 8. So something's got to change, right? I can't sit here and live in this world. So this safety now has to join the fit. We're even. 1, 2, 1, 2. So we're not in cover 3. We're still 2 read here. Nothing has changed. Okay. So these guys are not looking at the fit. This guy, I prefer to put him inside leverage off, right? If we have a dude that can play press, even better, right? But he's playing inside leverage, deep quarter. Why inside leverage? Because I don't want to get beat by this post. I know that this guy's going to trigger So what are they going to do if they start seeing this guy trigger? Run a glance route right here. Okay, so that's why he's inside leverage. I would much rather give up this and go defend a fade ball than the post. So that's why I put him inside leverage. This 11P, some people choose to stay in this tight front. And there's nothing wrong with it, but I choose to go to a shade front. Okay, reason being, I would much rather this H-back come down on a big body if they're trying to run off tackle, which a lot of teams do, than get a free release to a linebacker. Okay, same thing if we were to run tight end. Okay, he can come down, but if we're running off tackle, he's got a free shot to that linebacker. I don't like that. Okay, so I will typically run a shade front. So we'll talk about power real quick. Out of this, he'll come kick him out. Down. Hold up. Okay. Down. I'm struggling right now. Here, and we'll wrap up.
Hey, Coach, if you want him to, it's better if you go to click who you want to block, and then just double tap on one of your defenders, and he'll block straight on that guy.
Okay, I got you.
Yep.
Appreciate it. How we defend power. Okay, if this dude chooses to block out on the 5, he's kicking out the outside linebacker. What his read is this open gap. He's gonna get open window, so he's gonna come here. Okay, this dude is going to be on the outside of the ball. So right now, we're solid. Okay, he's reading this gap. This H-back engages with the outside linebacker. So he knows that it is run. He can now fit on the outside of the ball. He's fitting on the inside of the puller. He sees pull, so he should be coming here too. Okay. He is holding for any glance window or if QB keeps it. Okay. He can hold because the play is going to come to him. So that's power. What do teams like to do if we have this 5-1-3? The next thing would be insert. Okay. Insert will fit the same way with the safety. So we'll kind of go here. You're right. Okay. He'll lead in. Same thing. He's going to fit on the inside of the block. He's going to fit on the outside of the block. He's going to make sure nothing's coming outside and he can fold inside too. So now we have 2 hats inside. Okay. Now, split zone. So if we were going to do the same zone read, double, out block, split zone, right? He is reading this H-back. And if he takes him across the formation, he is now going to trigger in for the cutback. He's going to box it. He gets an open read, so he's going to fill. He gets an open read, he's going to fill. Okay. Taking it here. And so like I said, the 2 reads, he takes a read step, and that's going to determine the 2 steps. So if this back goes here and never commits to the gap, then he's going to rock back. Same thing. 2 read steps. If he commits, rock back. And now he's in the fit, and he's taking cutback. Okay, so we're all accounted for. Now, if we get some kind of H tray, okay, like I said, I like to go cover 3 to protect that outside linebacker. Okay, so we went red sky. He's now in the middle of the field. Okay, now we have 8. They have 8. We have 8. He is in the fit. So what I say by in the fit, he's going to take He's not going to be down right now, but he's going to take cheat steps. He's not backpedaling. Okay, he's reading this H back. Okay, because what's going to hit him in the middle of the field? A backside post or number 3. He's inside leverage, so he's got the backside post. His biggest passing threat right now is going to be number 3. So he doesn't have to bail right now. Out of this look, we'll talk about GH counting, right? 5, 1, 3. Okay. Everything's down. Okay. So he's going to take on the kick out. He reads down. He's going to be tight. He reads pull. He's going to be overlap. He is going to sit for any QB. Dedicated QB runner, I might also allow him to sit for QB. But right now, he's reading this H-back. So when he comes back across the formation, he's now going to get back to where he was. And now he's an alley runner. Okay. So theoretically, we have one for the kick out. We have one for the spill. We have an overlap. And then we have a safety. So we have 2 for their runner. If the QB were to keep it, he's already out here. He's playing this hook. QB. Okay. We ran this some last year. Double tight end. Okay. So now, how many do we need? We need 9. Okay. I like to play mod off. Okay. If they want to throw a 5-yard hitch, and this corner can take him on his outside shoulder, and then we can rally, that's fine. Okay. Like I said, if we have guys to press, we can do that. What I did this year, just because of the guys that we had, I played a 5-0-5. I walked them down, and 2 safeties were involved. Okay. Instead of reading H-back, they're now reading the tight end. Okay. It looks like the middle is open. I don't like it on paper, but it worked for us this year. Okay. A lot of times we got back offset. So he was going to the back, right? 5, 5. If they're on the line, I like for them to spill. Okay. I had 2 dudes this year that were just natural at boxing it, but I like for them to spill here. And then he's going to be forced and fold into the B gap. We ran this against East Columbus. It worked pretty well for us. Okay. I'm going to pull up film in just a second. We're going to talk about gun option. We played against South Davidson this year. And what we did for them, we knew they weren't going to pass a whole lot. I think they passed 3 or 4 times. We were really concerned about just reading the meshing option. Okay. So all we ran was we stayed too high, right? Played 2 read, but all eyes were on the mesh. Okay. Played a 5-0-5, 3-4. Also, 1 word call, we went to a 4 down with 2 1s, 2 5s, dudes in the B gaps, and then 1 is a 4-3. Okay. I like to go, I call it quad. I just reach for my quad, and it's 4 down. Okay. Those are the 2 looks we ran, and we played 1 coverage all game. We knew that we were going to be out leveraged here. They didn't run it a whole lot to the 2, but we knew that these guys were looking at pitch. They either ran zone or counter. Here. Okay. All they were concerned about was if they get this option, they have to beat it on the outside and go chase the ball. And by far, this was the best game that we played. I believe we caused like 4 or 5 turnovers. But we also committed like 4 or 5 turnovers, so we were like trying to lose the game. But that was the first win. Chatham Central didn't win it all last year. It was first win in 2 years, so that was pretty exciting. Out of the 3-4 look, out of this, I had guys here stacked over the guards and outside shoulder of the tackle. And all we did was we were going to read the block. Okay. So if this tackle blocked out, he's going to take quarterback, and now he's going to take dive. Okay. If he blocked down, he's going to squeeze. He's going to take Q. And then we got pitch guys out here. And then we knew for sure there was a pitch guy out here because he's unblocked, and he's going to take pitch every time. These guys were reading guards, but these guys were primarily dive. Okay. We also kind of knew I was right about it in the game, but the game plan was that they wanted to get the quarterback the ball. They were not going to hand the dive off a whole lot, which they didn't. And I feel like if they did hand the dive off, I think they would have done better for us. But they wanted the QB, so we had a lot of eyes on the QB. Let's see, make sure that I hit everything. Empty. We'll go over empty real quick before we go to film. Okay, empty is a cover 3. So we have 3 and 2. It's uneven, unbalanced, so we will be uneven. Okay. We have here, what we ran into the problem was this. The only added learning that we had to do, and we really hit it on the 7-on-7 over the summer, was this guy now has to bump outside number 2. Okay. We're in our tight look. Now we have 6. For their 6, numbers are solid. Okay. If we're in sky, seam curl flat, 3, middle of the field, deep third, seam curl flat, hook, and then he's going to be the extra fitter. So if we decided to send him here, he's going to go here, stuff like that. Cool. And we will go to film. We're going to watch South Davidson first. Okay. So like I said, best game we had all year. Okay. H-back, 20p. We were in our 4-down look right near. I would like for him to be a little more tugged into the B gap, but this dude made a whole lot of plays for us. Okay. And he's the type of dude that would look at you and say, "Okay, coach, I'll do exactly what you say," and he just didn't. Okay. And he made plays and he didn't make plays. Okay. The read was if he blocks out, he's supposed to stay outside and take the quarterback, and he was going to shoot it. Okay. But we're gonna talk about our DBs here. We knew he's got pitch. He's got pitch. All eyes were on mesh. As soon as he sees it, he's coming down right now, and he makes a great tackle. This was his second game ever playing. He did not play football in middle school. They didn't have it. Didn't play football in youth ball. So the second game ever playing this. He's a freshman. Real good. Tackle for loss. Okay, right here we're still in our 4-down look. This is a good example of, so we get down. So he's taking dive right now. Okay. Still no blocker. So he's got pitch. He should be coming for Q. And he is just reading dive to QB to pitch. Okay. Couple things. Our eyes were not right. And our leverage was not right. Okay. He should be on the outside of this, vicing it back to our linebacker. He gives it up, makes a tackle, and does gain a little bit of yards after the tackle. Okay. You're going to see here, I've told this dude multiple times to stay outside. This is the reality of high school football. Okay. Everything looks good on paper. He's got to stay outside. He would get beat on it here in a play. Okay. Still in our 4-down look. Right here. What I mean. So down. He takes dive. He should be Q. We should have a safety that's in the picture for pitchman. He is too far back. And the corner should not be in here at all. There's no reason to be. Everybody has a part to play. So this was our 3-4. Okay. I don't know what he's doing out here. He should be in here, and he should be closer to the B gap. But this is what I mean by two stand-up ends. I didn't like it. It's the way it was. Okay, same thing. He blocked out. He should have been on the outside of that. Okay, but we're going to look at our safety. Okay, safety did a really good job taking on pitch man. As soon as he sees it, he goes. One of the biggest things that I find with kids is that they have to trust what they see, and sometimes they don't. But the ability to play with confidence is trusting that what they saw in practice is what they're going to see in a game, and they can go get it. And this kid did in this particular time. We got another tackle for loss from a safety that's 10 yards deep. Great tackle. Okay, we're back on our 4-down look. Okay, so they're running counter this way. We should be following. We do not. Okay, another good tackle. Playing on the outside of the slot receiver. We're not engaging the block. We're not punching the block. We're ripping and running. Okay. I told him he needed to take dive. Okay. He sees it early, then takes quarterback. He should also be taking quarterback, which he does, right? And then from here, we got guys pursuing the football outside and 3-yard gain. We're good. All right. I put this play in specifically for this kid, okay? Drove me insane, but I can't get mad at him when he makes plays like this. Drove me insane, but he tracked him down. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, but he actually ended up breaking his hand before the half, and they padded it up with knee pads, wrapped it up, and now he's playing. Okay, down block here, so he's going to take dive, and then we have a linebacker coming for QB. We have a safety for pitch, a corner for pitch.
Hey, Coach, I got a quick question.
What's up?
So go back to the top. So when you're talking about how y'all weren't really concerned about dive, and you were talking about they wanted to pitch it and when the quarterback get out, why are your linebackers like look really bunched up in this look in the middle?
To give them a specific read for the guard and tackle.
Gotcha.
They knew whenever guard step one way, I'm stepping another way. And I'm more worried about the quarterback, but I didn't want to be gashed by the dive, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got you.
What they ended up doing later in the game, okay, is that they knew this guy was not going to tackle dive. They actually got 2 touchdowns on us in the fourth quarter because they just gave it to the dive. And he got his dive key, so they scraped for quarterback, and he just didn't tackle the dive. Okay, so we're in our 4 down. That was the first play. So we'll go to Bartlett Yancey. Bartlett Yancey was a game that I believe we lost 48, 56 to nothing. Defensively, we gave up 4 touchdowns. So defensively, we didn't play bad. There was some things that didn't go our way. Okay. This was the look. So we ran 5-0-5. We had him hugged up into the B gap. We had him reading the guard, hugged up into the B gap. We were not really concerned about them passing the football. We were worried about them running the football. He had C gap for any kind of outside zone. As we said, one of the biggest indicators was when he's in pistol, they're running outside zone. That was the biggest tendency. So he was going to take C gap, he was going to run the B gap, and he was going to run A to C. So right here, what's the look? Okay. He can't block all three of them. He has an open B gap that should be making the play. He also should be, this should be a vice tackle here, and he's got this gap. We're solid. Okay. Ended up gaining 2 yards because the tackle's soft, but we have numbers. Okay. This is a look out of our 2 read. So eyes on the slot, eyes on the slot. 2 is out right now. He's going to sink and go when the ball's thrown. His eyes now go to number 1. He's going to sit and try to get on top of number 1. When he throws it, we're there. Okay. Tackle for 1. We're good. Okay. QB run. Same thing. This gap, his head should be in this gap. He's free. Okay. I'm not sure why he is so far over here. This should be a vice tackle for a 4th down stop. Okay. Because when this guard releases, he goes and gets this linebacker. There's nobody for 26. He should be free to make this tackle right now. Okay, this was our 4 down look. We ran him at 5. He's hugged in the B. He's hugged in the B. Okay. All the word was quad. And I brought in an inside linebacker and dropped an off-ball linebacker. Or I brought an interior defensive lineman and dropped an inside linebacker. Okay. But this is his read. He gets an open gap right here. He's shooting it right now. Just misses. Try to tackle with our hands and not our shoulders. But there's a lot of pursuit. We're solid. Running the football. Same 4-3 look. So this is an example of our 2 read. Eyes are on the slot. Eyes are on the slot. Okay. When he is out right now, he's looking here and staying over top, and he gets over top of number 1. So when he runs a slant, he is going with him, and he sits on top of here. He's not jumping it so he can stay on top of the wheel. Okay. And we get a coverage sack. Okay. This right here is a really good example of reading past and then dropping to his hook. And he's going to shuffle with eyes on, sitting underneath the slant. Okay, same thing from this kid. Oh, my fault. Okay, power. Okay. He's a spill player when he gets a down block. So he should be scraping on the outside. He should be a spill player. He does, but he does not stay on the outside of the ball. This kid should be reading the guard, and the guard steps down here. This tackle steps down, so he should be scraping. So we should get a spill, we should get a box, and we should get an overlap. He sees a guard pulling, so he should also be working over top. Just doesn't stay outside and allows him to run. Okay, same thing. Tell corners all the time that we don't have to sit here and fight with these dudes. You're gonna see at the corner of the screen here that he's sitting here hand fighting with them, and there's no reason to. His gap is outside the receiver. So beat the hands, rip and run, and force this thing back inside. Okay. All right, that should be back at the top. Graham. That's all our film. Graham is also a game that you're going to see on the last play, and they threw it like we had been leading all game, and they threw like a 30-yard time running out a touchdown pass that went through our kid's hands, and another dude landed on one of our defenders and caught it and scored. And then we lost in overtime. But this is so we're in our 3 down, outside linebacker, inside. This is one receiver, so we need all 9 guys. The safeties are in the fit, right? Okay. Tight end is here, H-back is here, so we are even. There's no need to roll. Right now, he's going to box this thing. He should be here, and the safety should be down right now, okay? He is reading this H-back, so he should also be coming over. This outside linebacker would have quarterback if he were to keep it. Okay, what happened? He kind of ran upfield and didn't meet the kick out, so the alley's super, super wide. My 5 technique is in here. Shouldn't be. Reality of football. Tight end gets a clean look on the linebacker, which is why the 5 technique is there. You shouldn't be. And then he should be filling the alley a little better than he does. And then there's a whole lot of trying to arm tackle. Okay, so we were 2x2. We played Blue Buzz this week. So he was outside number 2. He's going to take seam curl flat and drop to the flat. So really, the technique for that is he's going to let 2 take him to the flat. He's going to stay high. He's going to stay high on the hash. Safety is going to stay high on the hash. He's going to stay high on the number. He's going to take flat. We had a quarterback spy in this game because he can run a little bit. Okay, now what does that look like? So he does a good job of going vertical with him, but he does not do a good job of putting hands on him. He needs to at least get a reroute. If he's going to be there, we need to put hands on him, okay? And then when the ball is thrown, like right now, he should be breaking to the flat, okay? And then at this point, we need to go where the ball is going, and it needs to be a better vice tackle. But we ended up losing yards, 3rd and 10. We give him a punt. Okay, this is a good example of what this alley is supposed to look like. Okay, we get quarterback run to the left. This guy is supposed to take on the kick out. He is coming to fill the alley, and then he is unblocked, supposed to be making this play. Okay, this is our most athletic, best player. That's why he's in the position. Okay, what happens is he comes too far upfield. There's a huge alley that he's supposed to be filling. This linebacker is also supposed to be coming here. Okay. Alley's too big. He takes a really wrong angle and it's touchdown. Okay. Reality is I expect the best player on our defense to make that play. He did not. That was one of their 2 touchdowns. Same thing. We had a chance to make this tackle here. And we try to arm tackle. And tackle way too high. Our eye should be on the hip. Okay. Good example. We have 1-2. So we're in our blue buzz here. He's out of the fit. He's more in the fit. Here, we don't have a dedicated receiver. So all these guys are in the fit. We told him this week he was going to be the outside player. No matter what, he stayed on the outside of everything and boxed it back inside because we did not want the quarterback getting any kind of leverage on the outside. Okay. What happened was he was supposed to take the outside. He would take the inside of the ball carrier. The corner would take the outside of the ball carrier. What happened, okay, is he kind of did his job. He was driven to the sideline. He should take on this kick out a little better than he did. But here we are, inside of the ball carrier, outside. And I guess he was worried that he would go outside too. So he stayed outside and didn't make the play. Eyes are too high. We're not inside. He cuts back on us. And gained more yards than we should have. This was our 150-pound nose guard that we were talking about. That we'd slant one gap, and he just got triple teamed into the Graham sideline. Okay. But one of the things on paper, it is supposed to work. Reality is we're working with high school football players. So right here, same look on the other side. He's going to be outside. He's going to fit inside. He's going to fit inside. Gained way too much. Okay. He should be here. He should be here. And when I look at the film, I'm thinking we didn't work this as much. We didn't teach that as much. The corner didn't get enough practice reps because both of them are doing it. So I put that blame on me. Okay, trips. The safeties are going to be the ones in the fit because we're playing buzz. Those guys are out. Okay. This was called PI. I'm not really buying the whole PI. But this would be a good bracket on number 1. So he should be underneath. He should be on the number. He should be on the hash. And when he throws it, I don't like the man turn. Okay. There's no reason to really take him inside because we have a safety here. He should be staying outside and shuffling, keeping eyes on the ball because we are playing zone. That's what zone is for. Zone is for keeping eyes on the ball so we can go get the ball. Right here, he freaks out, turns to him, puts hands on, he trips, gets a penalty. Shouldn't have happened. He should have stayed on the number, outside leverage, eyes on the ball. Okay, so right here, you need all 9 in the fit. Jet sweep. This is an example of the safety doing it very well. Okay, he stays outside, he boxes the play, he reads the alley, makes a tackle for 2 yards. That's what it's supposed to look like. Okay, now that was 81. So 2 plays later, this kid does not do the right thing. Okay, he stays outside like he's supposed to. This is the alley. We define the alley for him, and he runs in here. Okay, and turns out to be a touchdown. So the way we drew it up was not how it played, and we got beat. But should be here. I believe guard pulled, so we should also be getting an inside linebacker here. And he does not run. He ends up in here. So set 27-yard touchdown. Okay, trips with a back 2 typically was rollout for them. Okay, I put this clip on there because this is a really good example of what Blue Buzz is supposed to look like. We got one receiver. He is underneath because they've been hitting us with this hitch the whole time. He is going to be on the number. He's going to be on the hash. And they're going to end up double teaming this post in the middle of the field. Okay. Now, I would like for them to communicate a little bit better, have more reps with this, and him end up being over top, him end up being underneath, and somebody pick the ball. Nobody did. Okay, 2x2. Turn out to be jet sweep. Okay, another good example of setting the edge with our buzz right here. He knows he's going to be outside number 2. He knows that he's got this alley between the tackle and the slot receiver. He gets jet. He's coming down right now. He makes a tackle at the line of scrimmage. Okay. We don't get any pullers. We get reach outside zone. So this guy knew that he was also going to take the alley. So he should be screaming. He should be screaming. And this is number 3 from his side, so he should be running the alley as well. Okay, I believe this was what won them the game and got them to go into overtime. No, it's not. Next play. Okay. But I put this on there because this is a good example. Okay. Watch this dude. He's got the seam curl flat technique. He's running with him. He does a good job of getting hands on. He looks at number 1 and then he breaks on it. He's going to be outside. He's going to be inside. And it's not a big gain at all. It just needs to be a little more violent of a tackle. This is what wins them the game. Okay. Now, what went wrong here, okay, we have one receiver over here. He should be underneath. He should be outside. He should be more in here to take away the hash to the middle of the field. Okay. We allow him to get into the middle of the field, essentially cross our face like I was talking about earlier. It's not really that they schemed it up. It's he's inside here, but then we allowed him to take a sharp angle, and we didn't go with him, cross our face to the inside, threw it, called it, touchdown, going to overtime, we lose in overtime. Okay. That is it for film. If you got any questions, let me know. I can go over anything. I got some time today.
I think, Coach, I'm good. If you want to stop sharing, I don't know if you have anything else you want to jump back into.
No, you're good.
You hit the stop screen down at the bottom.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
No, I can talk for days, bro.
Yeah, man. Man, like anybody listening to you talk, I mean, you have things you know where guys supposed to be, and what I love about it is that it's funky. It's not. It ain't 4 down. It ain't over under. It's not your standard, even odd front. It's not, 0, 4-0, 4-0-4. Excuse me. Odd front defense, 3-3 stack bear. It's like it's all those things, but the guys move. Guys are in certain things. It's multiple. And that's the thing about defense. Like when the defense is multiple, where you can jump in and out of fronts or jump in and out of coverages or alignments that are different, but for your guys are all the same. That's what gives offenses fits. I've had people tell me, ask me, like, "Hey, Coach, what gives you nightmares and what gives your offensive lineman nightmares?" Is when I come out on a drive and you're in a 4 down front, and that's what we've practiced, and then we know you're going to jump into an odd, and you jump into odd, but then you can move and slant and line up here, but then you're crossing here, and so you're just messing with rules or checks we have, and that's what gives me nightmares. I have to study and stay up. So that's good. That's good defense, man. And obviously, a lot of people that are watching this might not know, right? I know where you're coaching at. Like I know the clientele you're working with, and the fact that you're, putting guys in great positions, and you're, got guys, playing hard. Like that is it's awesome. So appreciate you doing that, Coach. I think you kind of detailed that. You kind of showed, especially I love your comments when you keep saying, "Hey, these are high school kids." You can tell them what to do; they're not always going to do it, and anybody can sympathize with that. But man, I don't really have anything else. I appreciate you, doing that. I'm always trying to dive into more defense, and the more I can get into a DC's mind and kind of call a game, knowing what he's going to do or knowing what he might do based off of alignment, just kind of helps an offensive guy out. So I appreciate you doing that, man.
Yeah, no problem. I'm very appreciative of you letting me be on here. I've canceled on you like 3 or 4 times because my kids. And actually, I have a kid sitting in my kitchen right now that's supposed to be in bed and knows she's supposed to be in bed, and she's just looking at me, waiting for me to get off this computer.
Hey, man, that's kids for you, man. But
All 5 of them, bro.
hey, man, she knows you're on a talk and that you can't get to it. So she's like, I'm gonna sit here as long as I can.
She's up here with her face on the window, like licking it, like in my face.
Yeah, love it. I love it, man. Hey, kids will keep you humble, man. They'll keep you right.
Yeah, they
so.
will. I didn't realize how much until the game.
Yeah, for sure. Hey guys, Coach, go ahead and drop your Twitter. I'm trying to get Coach more active on Twitter and start doing stuff because
I actually have to look up what my Twitter handle is.
Yeah,
give me 1 second.
No, you're good. Like I said, me and Coach Ted have been good buddies for a long time, and so appreciate him coming on and doing that.
It's Jacob Tedder 5.
Jacob Tedder 5. Go ahead and drop him a follow. Do that for him. Coach, you talk ball all day long. So
yeah, absolutely. I could do this for 8 hours. I was putting together this presentation. I was like, dude, like I don't want to take this. I don't want to take all night. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, no doubt. We're getting ready for the clinic tomorrow, so I've been working in the background while listening as well. So I'm going to head and we're going to call it a night, Coach, and I really do appreciate you doing that. I'm not sure when this will be up, but it'll be up for you, and I'll tag you in it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.